A real Shaolin disciple reviews Sifu, the game. Let's get started.
I'm the meat chef.
Then, Ranton, original content by the way. I just said it. Perfect form. Clean, man. This is effort, man. Not like the second-hand YouTubers like me who just react to videos. Gong Fu. The button combos, he knows it. And before we get into it, man, I just want to say this is a result of a dude who went to China for like 3 years, trained a Shaolin temple, went back, and this is what he ended up with, creating this wonderful YouTube channel, man. Go subscribe to him. And say content. What the heck? Oh my. Yeah, the game had like an age mechanic. Every time you would die, you would age like for a year or something like that.
Mashallah, it's
Mashallah.
so stop you.
Bro.
Before we even continue, we have one thing up front. This game should be called Shifu, not Sifu. Sifu, Cantonese, Shifu, Mandarin. Reason number one. The official live action trailer.
My face.
They speak crystal clear 普通话.
Wait, it had a live action trailer? What the hell? I need to watch that one.
And in 普通话, it is called Shifu.
Shifu.
Hear that? Not Cantonese. Reason 2. In the game itself, they say certain words like they pronounce it in 普通话. Reason 3. The martial art in this game is called my nuts. This is a southern style where people speak Cantonese, not Mandarin, and therefore pronounce it Sifu. That ruins my argument. Fuck. Reason 4. The now added Chinese voiceover is in Mandarin. Reason 5. Compare this. 十里平湖霜满天，寸寸情似球花年. To this. Mandarin is so 漂亮. Okay, and if you disagree, Allah la yubarak fik, Allah يكسر إيديك حيوان يعبد الكل.
Bro.
My lunch? Get that Cantonese cringe the fuck out of here and leave that for the Wing Chun manlets because they spend all fucking day talking about the... Obviously, I'm exaggerating a Susma bit. Sifu didn't have to be in Mandarin, but the game really struggled.
Like, this is a perfect dude who can review this game. Like everyone else, he's below him.
The consistency is
with this game specifically. With the other ones, it depends.
Point. Why is it not all in Cantonese if the style it's based on is associated with that area? Why are some of the ancient amulets in the game written in simplified Chinese, not traditional?
Stop it.
I don't know if it was a lack of vision or different forces pulling the game in different directions. Ultimately, the uninitiated won't care, but we are initiated. So, a lot of people are asking me for my thoughts on the combat, but the problem is, like I briefly mentioned before, Pak Mei, Southern style, whereas the styles that are taught at Shaolin and the ones that I was taught are mostly Northern style. Let me explain very briefly what differentiates them. Southern styles, Nanchen, have a heavy focus on arms. It's like, the stances are higher, the arm movements are faster, and more direct. What is the most famous Southern style? That's right, Wing Chun, aka how to rape 10 Japanese under 5 seconds. Most of the styles that are practiced at Shaolin are Northern styles though. This means low stances, yeah? Mabu, nice and low. That's why the splits are a basic requirement for Kung Fu. We do more kicks, jumps, and
I've trained and I tried to do the splits. It's impossible, man. I nearly died, man.
Focused exercises.
You need someone who forces you down. Like, this is insane.
Moreover, and I have to do this, even though Pak Mei teachers talk a lot about real fighting and it's used in a combat situations.
Most of Kung Fu we see it is like what Jetty is doing. No one fight like this in real life. It's amazing, but this is not authentic.
You think real fights look like this? Please don't kid yourself. Nee, if you want to learn how to fight, yeah, you have to learn kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, judo, that kind of shit. Realitätscheck. You have to know how to...
Like all this traditional shit, karate and the standard stuff, it's all more of an art form and not really usable in the real world. If you try to do that, you would get instantly killed, man. That's just the truth. You will just pull a knife, pull a gun, and you are fucked. It's still important to learn self-defense, and that's for specific situations, but most of the time, just run away. It's the best decision.
protect yourself on the ground, and how to throw a proper punch. Okay? There's no replacement for sparring. Everything else is supplementary. Whether that's Aikido,
Okay.
like
What is it?
they take the arm and they go. Yes,
Ich
yes.
fucking Tanlan, was du machst.
No, they take a person's arm and they go like hop hop, and the person die. No fights in the real world happen like these highly isolated self-defense routines that Pak Mei and many other martial arts use to demonstrate their effectiveness. Throw a punch. No, the other arm. My other arm. That kind of shit. No. Slowly.
Yeah, they need to do with specific movements so they can do their own specific technique, which will only work in this one specific situation, and it will never happen because no one attacks like that, man.
It looks very cool, and if it inspires other people, to get into the martial arts world, good, super, great. But
Yeah.
please remember, real fights don't look like Jackie Chan choreos, and they don't look like the fights in Sifu. That doesn't mean that you can't enjoy them for what they are. Jackie Chan is a god, and Shifu is a damn fine game. So let's get into it.
Let's go,
Okay,
man.
let's first talk about presentation. The art style is precise. This table, love it. I struggled for a while to find the right words to describe Shifu's art style, and now I got it. The game was designed by a surgeon. Speaking of surgery,
What?
I got this one. I fucking mother. Everything is so meticulously well put together. It's clean, like mine. Arsch. Nothing is left to chance or untouched, like your mom's arsch. There's nothing missing or anything to be added. The world looks so goddamn fascinating, creative, creative,
Creative,
and so
man.
full of references to beloved cultural moments from martial arts cosmos, like the old boy hallway fight, the ghetto that reminds me of the
I
ring.
love
The
this.
club gives me John Wick vibes. The tower is seemingly made of gold. My Fresse ist
You need
Versace.
to watch the raid, man. So good.
Das ist eine geile Line von dem Song. Du.
Du Hure.
How does it go? Ich fick dein gespieltes Video und dein Privatchat. Hab zwei Optionen, dass mich die Bitch oder der Kommissar weg.
Damn, er kann's einfach.
Something like
Junge.
that.
Ja.
This is insane.
Don't you forget it. It always starts out grounded, what you can relate to. But then, sometimes Shifu straight up delves into the absurd, yeah? Abstract, grotesque. Unraveling itself from its earthly tethers. Overcoming the need for textures or detail. Like the great Guru Lachima always said, if you base your expectations only on what you can see, you blind yourself to the possibilities of a new reality. Now speaking
Okay.
of action, this is what was going to make or break Shifu. The combat. Le combat. Oh, sheesh. I am here to tell you, they nailed it. Is it defensive like Sekiro? Is it offensive like no? It's a new thing. I don't want to explain the entire system here because
Yeah,
it
it
is
feels
complex.
different.
You just have to try. Okay? It's such a dynamic system. The form meter, the finishers, unparryable attacks, directional dodges,
Oh, Hyper Armor geht vor in der Flashbacks.
throws,
Alter.
weapons, etc. The learning curve in Shifu is insane. If I look at my gameplay from right now versus from when I started, it's like I'm playing two separate games. How all these different mechanics tie into each other. That is the beauty of Shifu. It creates a flow that is unlike anything that we have ever seen. No kissy, man. This is also how you upgrade your character, because you really don't. Your character gets better because you get better. Like my master always said,
Yeah.
more practice. Any new moves you learn don't really make you better. In fact, they might even throw you off your game because you're gonna desperately try to use them and incorporate them into your flow. And it takes a whole nother level of meta skill to understand which skills are worth buying and which
Damn.
are absolute go shit. And this might also be where
It's actually well thought out. Like you need to still learn this shit after you've even obtained it, and
some people could
Yeah.
get disappointed. If you expected a classic roguelike, where you get permanent upgrades to make shit easier, Shifu isn't really going to give that to you. The game treats
this is
you
what
like...
I love. Like the problem with, for example, Elden Ring is it's not really a hard game. I don't know why people call it hard. It's actually pretty easy because after you obtain those insane items, you just get too strong, too OP. I even played it without the mimic tier, like the one summon, which are yourself, and that thing is completely broken, man. But it makes the game too easy, and this game made it well, man.
I treat my toilet.
But
It
it's
is
good.
Sure, you have the shrines, but honestly, I never found them to make that big of a difference. In Shifu, you get good by playing it, and
Yeah.
nothing
This
else.
is how hard games should be.
Because the combat is flawless and the love for Kung Fu is tangible. Some people are asking me about the story. Oh, how's the story? Sorry, it's simple, sometimes naive. The messaging is good, there are two endings with some stuff you gotta figure out, but it's
Yeah, at the
really...
beginning you played like the I think you played the antagonist. Yeah.
just a vehicle to drive forward what Shifu really wants you to do. I will beat the shit out of you and have fun doing so. In a way, it's like a Jackie Chan movie. Dumbass story, nobody cares, outstanding fight scenes. Now to close this off, we have to get into a bit more complicated territory. Because the critiques I have of this game are a bit ambiguous, kind of. You know, Shifu has no flaws or things that don't work properly. I have 100% in the game now, about 30 hours played, which is substantial. At this point, you have to understand that right now there is literally nothing else for me to do. Nothing. What does that mean? Well, a lot of roguelikes,
DC question mark?
since they're based on trial and error, incentivize or give you the option of approaching situations in different ways, usually through a diversity of gameplay mechanics. Try the stealthy approach, try the aggressive approach, try a different weapon, try a different upgrade, try a different skill, try a different path. This shit don't exist here. There's only one way to play it. Fighting people and different paths only exist in the form of shortcuts to the boss. Like in
Pretty simplistic.
the dungeon, you can keep playing and playing even once you finish it because you choose different guns. Hades,
this
you
game
choose
is
a different weapon, it changes up the game.
This game is great, man.
Dead Cells, use different weapons. You can play again. Curse of the Dead Gods, one of the best indie games, 9 out of 10 by the way.
What? Never heard of it.
Choose a different weapon, it's a different game. Shifu
Bro,
doesn't
that looked like Hades, man.
we have that. So the replayability is high until you get to the last boss, but then
Interesting.
also really not. Does anyone get what I'm saying here? Because I don't. I have defeated the last boss at age 20. Now I'm done, but I don't want to be done. I want to play more of it, man, but I can't. This goes to the devs. Add a challenge mode, a boss rush mode,
Boss
arena
rush, man.
mode, which I heard they're adding on the roadmap.
And Elden Ring as well. We need boss rush, man.
Out to the family, anything, just make the game last longer. That is the paradox of Shifu. It's a very
Why did she laugh,
complete
man?
package, but also not complete. The depth of the gameplay could have carried the weight of a much bigger and longer campaign. Another factor that I think Shifu could have needed to reach that masterpiece level is, you know, more diverse fighting styles. Because everyone kind of fights the same way. Sure, there's some variations. Some people, you know, the big ones, they grab. Some people kick more. But generally, it's kind of all the same. You remember enemies by the way they look and the way they're presented, not by the way they fight. And Chinese Kung Fu has so many styles.
Bro, I thought we had like different mechanics all in all.
There's so much in Chinese Kung Fu. I know, limitations, indie studio,
Gaming
but,
limitations.
Oh God, I wish there was
It
more
is
in
what
it
it
you
is.
know, more juice. How about some drunken master, animal forms, northern styles? None of that is here, and that's unfortunate. But speaking of diversity, visual enemy diversity is insane. I don't know how they did it. I feel like I never fought the same looking enemy twice. Fucking awesome. Okay, there's one last point of critique, and I just kept it in the script because I'm not 100% sure about this one, but I just have to kind of mention it, and then you can tell me how wrong I am. Sometimes I felt like the complexity of Shifu's aging mechanic and how you sort of time travel back and what type of upgrades are carried over and which ones aren't was how to say it? Was to its detriment. Can you say it like this? It wasn't necessary to make it this weird and complex. And I think figuring out how it actually worked was more of a nuisance than it was fun to me. When you go back to an old level, what is carried over? Like, maybe someone knows what I'm saying here. I don't quite know how to formulate it. I
don't really know what he's talking about.
The game is too complex than it needs.
Like the aging mechanic, I think you need to. Many people try it that way, like they played it through normally till they get to a real old age, and then they started from the beginning and easily beat the shit out of every boss from the beginning levels, like from first ones, from the second ones, and then they went with a character which is pretty young and are in the harder areas, like so they had more tries, and yeah, that's I think a good attempt at it. If you try it that way, it could be easier. I don't know.
And it's kind of annoying to figure out the game, how it functions, the aging mechanic and what's fuck it. Okay, time for the final rating. Let's go.
7. Is it a 7? Bro, loading screen. What is it?
Sifu, il déchire grave, cousin. Et fonctionner comme ça, le succès suivra. My final rating is a very good 8 out of 10.
What?
Also, of course, never trust people who use copies. Catch y'all on the flippity flop.
That's true.
Out. Choose.
Damn. Go subscribe to Ranton. He does great content. And yeah, that's actually it. Go subscribe to me as well if you want to see more reactions. I'm definitely gonna make more reaction videos on his videos. Like I like those, like the German elements, the English elements, and the Chinese ones perfectly combined into one. It's great, man. And yeah, that's actually it. I really appreciate a like and sub, and I see you next time. Wafer out.